If you feel like you have a bad mindset for trading, or at least a bad execution in your trades, you cannot take the right trades, you overtrade, you undertrade, you have fear, you have greed, then this video will fix all of it in a pretty short format. So let's dive right in. So this is one of the most requested topic I've had on my videos recently. People asking about tips for mindset, for kind of fixing the trading psychology and getting back on the right track. They want to take the right trades, they struggle with fear or greed or something else. And I think I want to kind of share my framework on this, something I've learned over the years, working with different psychologists and trading coaches. I did this for myself. Now, quick warning, this is really helpful, but you won't fix it in one day. You got to be able to do the work yourself and really think hard on this. It takes some time, but it really works well. So pay attention to this for sure. The very first step when it comes to fixing your mindset is identifying your issues. Like, what do you struggle with? Is it over trading? Is it under trading, so like skipping trades because you have fear? Is it more greed, or is it some pressure that you feel and then you kind of do the wrong stuff because of pressure you have? So most issues come down to over trading or under trading based on greed or fear, respectively. But there's a lot of other stuff you can think about. It could be like you have pressure. It could be where you are switching strategies every week because you want to make profit fast because of pressure. So there's a lot of different aspects to it, but most of it comes down to overtrading or undertrading. So keep that in mind. So what's the issue? What is it? Pick that, write this down somewhere, then we can keep moving forward. Okay, next step is finding out when it happens exactly. So what is the trigger? What is the moment where this stuff happens in your trading? Is it when you have a few losses? Let's say you have 5 losses and you start to overtrade. Or is it when you kind of like start the day with something that you hear news somewhere, or let's say you scroll Instagram, then you hear about someone who's a millionaire from trading, then it makes you want to trade more. Or is it because you hear someone you lost money in the market, then you want to trade less? What triggers it? What is the thing that kind of push you to do that action, that issue you have? For some people, it's after losses. For some others, it's after wins. They have multiple wins, they feel good, then they overtrade, or then they want to not take trades anymore. So figure out when this happens. And this is where it's going to take some time to kind of identify it. And when you're in the moment, you got to kind of think, oh, I got to write this down when it happens. Then when you do that, then you kind of know how it happens and when it happens, which is a good thing to have, of course. Next step is you got to journal the why. And that is, if you have an issue with your trading, like you overtrade, you undertrade, you need to be journaling why that happens, or at least why you think it happens. Take a sheet of paper, take a notebook somewhere, write down why you think you overtrade, why you think you undertrade, or why you think you have this issue with your trading. Now, the funny thing is, at the beginning, it's going to be very surface level. Like, I undertrade. I think I was afraid to take that trade because of this and this in the market. I was afraid that my trade would not be a profit. Therefore, I didn't take it. What's the core issue? What's the deeper issue there? You don't undertrade or overtrade because of that only. If you keep asking yourself why multiple times, why do you undertrade? Well, because I don't want to have a loss in the market. I was afraid that this profit would be a loss. Why don't you take it? Because I had a good week last week. I didn't want to ruin it from that trade today. But why don't you want to ruin it? Or because I have pressure. I want to make trading work for me. Or why? Well, because I was born poor and then I want to make it work. Like, you see how when we go deeper, we get the real reason of it. And that's something that is only going to work if you keep asking yourself why and kind of go deep within this issue you have. And of course, you could work with a coach. The coach will do the same thing. The coach or the psychologist you work with for trading could do the exact same thing for you. But you can do it by yourself with only journaling. You gotta take the time to do it, of course, but you can do the same thing by yourself. So this will take a little bit of time. You won't do it in like 30 minutes. It might take a whole afternoon or a whole day or something to kind of go back and think about why you do this. But at least if you can do it, then you're gonna have some good results with it. Now, the next step is going to be to define your new habits. So if you see that you always overtrade when you have 5 losses in a row or more, what would be the habit that could change that? And every habit you have, as we have in the Power of Habits book, which is a very good book to read, by the way, for any kind of trader, every habit should have a trigger. So something that starts the habit. When, for example, you have 5 losses, you could tell yourself that whenever you get 5 losses, you're going to have an alert from your platform that is going to alert you have 5 losses. Then to start your new habit. Or it could be any kind of way. You could have a stick note on your computer to kind of start a new habits there. It could be multiple ways. As long as you have a reminder or a trigger to start your habit and do things differently, that's what matters here. Then what's your habit? Well, you could go back and watch my video that I've done recently on how to recover from losses and what to do when you have a few losses in a row. That's going to give you step-by-step things to do. But the key thing is taking a quick break. You could listen to music if you want to. You could do things that kind of put you back in the right mindset. You could watch one of my videos with traders that interview. You could watch a motivation videos that I have on my channel too. Any kind of thing that could help you with getting back on track and then getting back to the right trade. It could also even be you will take the trades but with lower risk in that case. If you get 5 losses and then you want to take a new trade, you could just go off for the day, or you could just reduce the risk to like a third of what you usually risk on these new trades you take. That will allow you to, even if you push it and take many trades, to not blow the account, at least. Keep in mind, you should always note this down in your journal as well. Whenever you take a loss or whenever you take a win, whether you overtrade or undertrade, this should be in your journal. So you can go back to it later, review why you took or didn't take these trades, and then you can kind of act differently next time. Now, the last thing I want to point out with this video here is that a lot of times we overtrade or we have issues with our mindset because we don't have proof that your strategy works. Because we didn't really test it thoroughly. We did a quick back test here and there. We had a few, we kind of tested out a little bit. We took a few trades, a few screenshots. But that's not enough to give us a clear confirmation or clear proof that our strategy works. So going back to build proof and build experience with your strategy is always going to pay off with your mindset. If you're certain your strategy works long term, then it's a lot easier to take the trades. If you're not certain it's going to work, or you're just only like half sure, it's going to be much tougher to take the trades. If you've got 5 years of experience with a strategy, it's a lot easier to trade versus if you only have 1 week experience with it. But that requires you to kind of stick to something for a while, master it, become the best at that strategy, and keep moving forward that way. So like I said, not something you'll be able to apply in just one day, but to recap, you've got to identify your issue with trading. You've got to identify when it happens. Then you got to journal on why you think it happens multiple times. Figure out the core issue of your mindset problems with trading. Then you define a new habit. And finally, you go back, get proof on your strategy, get more experience, and make sure you're able to become the master at what you trade. And by the same result, improve your mindset. So any questions or thoughts, leave them in the comment below. I want to hear what you think of this video. I don't reply to all the comments, but I read all of them every single time. And I would love to have you subscribe to the channel here. We're about to reach 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which would be a big milestone for me. I'm very thrilled for this, preparing something cool for when we get to that milestone. And I would love to have you part of this journey, of course. With that being said, I'll catch you back here in the next video pretty soon. Ciao.